wrapped in swaddling clothes. Oh, the Prince of Peace. He'll start turning, torches start burning. Oh, the only wise man returning from the east. How a little baby gone to bring the people so much joy. From the continent, they carry the light. This must be Christmas, must be tonight. Shepherd on the hillside, all over my flocks I find. On a cold winter's night, band of angels sing. In the street I hear a voice, saying, "Fear not, come rejoice." In the end of the beginning, praise the newborn King. How a little baby born, bring the people so much joy. Down on the continent, where they carry the light. Must be Christmas, must be tonight. Saw my own eyes, looking up in the skies. Why a simple person such as I, that it came to pass. He
side of town, there stands a little Christmas tree. It looks a lot like Charlie Brown's, and underneath there's one little gift for him, and one little gift for her. After 6 months on the new job, we're still barely getting by. So in the way of decorations, there's nothing there to catch your eye. But both of them would be the first to say, we're together, we're gonna have the merriest Christmas anyway. Christmas is all in the heart, it's where the feelings start. Like a fire inside, it touches every part. Christmas is all in the heart. And even if no white snow falls, that's alright, because the joy can still be found wherever you are. Christmas is all in the heart. Two little blonde-haired boys with big dreams tried to sleep, but sleep wouldn't come. We'd be tearing into presents long before the break of dawn, with Mom and Dad and cameras making sure we never forget that day. Now I'm the one who's taking pictures in the middle of the night of my own little dreamers. Just can't wait until daylight, and in my sleepy eyes a spark still grows. Well, I guess there's just some things I can never outgrows. Christmas is all in the heart, it's where the feelings start. And like a fire inside, it touches every part. Christmas is all in the heart. And even if no white snow falls, that's alright, because the joy can still be found wherever you are. Christmas is all in the heart. No, it's not in the snow that may or may not fall. No, it's not in the gifts beneath the tree. It's in the love heaven gave the night our Savior came. And that same love can still be found wherever you are. 'Cause Christmas is all in the heart, and the joy can still be found wherever you are. Christmas is all in the heart.
Give me a thumbs up. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. It's good to see all of you there, and a bunch of you are chiming in online that you're watching with us. It's wonderful. Let me just run through real quick to see who's online, because it's easier to do this at the beginning than partway through. So we got Howard from Sorrento, BC watching, and we got some Elmira folks, Tinkerbellish, I know who you are now, and Brenda and John, hey, good to see you guys. Karen from Wellesley, Gary from Elmira, and Jennifer from Waterloo, Pete right here in Elmira, Courtney, good morning, and Trudy and James from Guelph, Debbie and Richard in New Hamburg, good to see you. Hey, by the way, Debbie and Richard, I want to come see you. I'm going to drop in. Same with the Lane Smiths. I'm going to do a quick video clip with you guys. Drew from sitting in the back here helping out this morning. Teresa, good morning. Alex from Ottawa. Alex and Karen, it is good to see you guys for sure. And Rod and Gail, yes, second Sunday of Advent. You're good, yes. Carol, good morning, Carol. I want to come see you too, so just be ready for that. I'll call you first. Nancy from London, Ontario. Yay! Say hi to your family. We miss you guys. Francis and Ken, good morning. Wayne and Jackie, hey, did you see your video at the very beginning? We had you on at the start of our countdown. That was awesome. Joy and Mark in Guelph. Norma in St. Jacobs, good to see you there. Russ hiding from the back. Yes, this is great. Yeah, it's fun watching everybody chatting here. This is really cool. Ron and Sharon, good morning. Great seeing you. Nancy, sitting in her tower in Waterloo, looking down on the park. That's so cool. You got a great view there. Terrell, good morning from Elmira. It's almost like a country song, Elmira. Anyway, just kidding. Brian, good morning. And then, of course, you're in Kitchener? You guys moved to Kitchener? Trudy? And really? Are you serious? Okay, I did not know that. You never told me about that. And Linda, hey, your family's awesome. Good to see you guys. Elizabeth, good morning. Good seeing you on here. Elizabeth and Norma lost a friend who passed away in their building that they live, Dan Albright. He's a longtime friend of Lori's family. Lori's known him since she was really, really tiny. And I got to know him about 30, 35 years ago. Great man. It's a big loss, so he just passed away the other day. Beth and George, good morning. I'm assuming you're just outside of Guelph in that area. And there we go. All right, let's get rolling here. Hey, I hear that things are getting tight financially for some people. So I've got some new ideas and economical ways to help you decorate for Christmas. So the first decoration, I would suggest if you're a librarian, you don't need a real tree. Just get your green books and put together a librarian Christmas tree. That'll work. And if you're trying to do a nativity scene on a budget, well, there you go. I just thought that's really funny. Okay, sorry. If you didn't, too bad. Birthdays. We got lots going on. We got Gabe. Happy birthday, Gabe. By the way, Gabe, you're not chiming in really early first thing in the morning anymore. You sleeping in, snoozing? We miss you, man. And then Ken, my buddy Ken, happy birthday on the 11th. That's really cool. And an anniversary. I just saw this on Facebook this morning. It's not on our list, so maybe, Jen, you can add that to our birthday anniversary list, because I don't want to forget this one. Goshia and Robinson are 24 years married in Pakistan. They might be chiming in as well. We've had Yeshua submit some songs. I love it. Love their family, and we love you guys. Please continue to pray for Lisa and her health, and of course for Carol for sure. We love you, Carol. My heart goes out to you. I can't believe the struggle. Both of you. I know it's not easy. All right. Announcements. Today, join us for our after-church Zoom. Again, if you haven't joined in, you know who you are. That's like most of you. Come on in after church today and join us for the Zoom call. The link is in the email I sent out to Hope Fellowship. If you didn't get that, private message me in Facebook Messenger, because that'll come up right away, and we'll add you right away. I'll send you the link, and you can join in. It's not going to be that long, 10, 15 minutes. It's still fun to see everybody. Lane Smith, join in if you can. It'd be awesome. Then we have Grounds and Grace via Zoom only on Friday. So those that have been participating in that, I sent you the link already. Oh, shoot. I got to send you the video links. Darn. Can somebody email me right now and just remind me, hey, don't forget to send the links for Grounds of Grace? Shoot. Yeah, please. And then, of course, we're only doing online services now because we're trying to be wise and given this pandemic stuff that I hope will end not too far away from now, but we're trying to be wise for our region because the numbers are going up and it's getting sad and scary for some people. So just be wise. Don't lick your fingers. Wear a mask, and distance. You're good. Then we have Downtown Street Mission. So I haven't gotten an update email yet from them for the last 2 weeks, but these are some things that we are looking for to be dropped off. Joanna, you mentioned something about dropping some off. Just respond to my email, but you can either drop it off at my house but text me first, or if I'm here at the church. But yes, we can use all kinds of stuff. We made mitts and gloves and hats. If they're used, just make sure they're clean. That's all I ask. If you got deodorant or personal items, great duffel bags are really, really helpful. So Karen, thank you for those. Those were a huge hit. Then we have a compassion fund. December is giving month, and the joke has been church budget catch-up giving month, which there's truth to it, I get it. But we also have people who have great needs, so please consider giving above and beyond. We want to support some families that are having a hard time during this Christmas time, and there's a lot more this year than ever before. So if you can make an extra donation above and beyond, just mark it in your donation, or if you make a donation, send us an email saying, hey, this amount is for Compassion Fund, the rest is for the offering to help Hope Fellowship keep going. So please don't forget to make your donations. We're trying to send out a weekly email of where we're at financially. We've been blessed with some of the government subsidies. They're helping. But if we didn't have that, we'd be in so much trouble right now. We actually got a tax break from last year's rent, which we don't get next year. So that was a one last time gift that helped us through 2020. Rod Sider gave us some word of wisdom at our board meeting the other night and just reminded us that in all the previous years when they were planning the budget for Hope Fellowship, there was always one factor that was put in, a line item that you just can't measure. It's called the faith factor. And that's really important to remember that while I might get a little anxious, or Jen might get a little anxious about how finances are, and we can see the writing on the wall, oh no, somehow God speaks to people's hearts, finances come in. I don't know how it works, but it does. It's just crazy. So, hey, if you love Hope Fellowship and you love what we're doing, support it, because we sure need it. And I want to say thank you to those that do. And I need to keep yielding whatever anxiety and stress I have to God and say, hey, God, this is your baby. You take care of it. So it's kind of cool. It is time for some music, I believe. Let me just see where my slide's at. Yes. So we got a couple of worship songs. We've got Jennifer and we've got Melissa and Lori doing some songs. Let's take some time and listen to these. These are really, really well done. I love this. And here we go.
Oh, come on.
Wow. All right. That was amazing. Thank you, Jennifer, and thank you, Lori and Melissa. Melissa, we haven't heard you for a long time, so that was like really cool. Love that song and great piano playing too. Really cool. So thank you for those that are preparing and recording those songs. It means so much to all of us. It's time for a kid's story. So here we go. We got Mike and Julie. So get ready to smile and hear a really cool traditional story. Most of us have heard this one before, but because most of the adults don't do Sunday school, you may need to be reminded of this story. So here we go. This first part's fun.
Welcome to Hope Fellowship Children's Story Series.
Hi everybody, this is Julie's first time. Go for it. Okay.
Go.
See. David was born and raised in Bethlehem with his 7 big brothers. He grew up as a shepherd by grazing sheep in the most beautiful grasslands and forests. David worshipped the Lord and sang songs to glorify the Lord. It is in the book of Psalms where we can find his most amazing poetic words and hymns. As time passed, David became the most handsome and smart young man of the town with extraordinary talent in music. The king of Israel, Saul, recognized him for his talent in playing musical instruments. For a very long time, the Philistines wanted to conquer Israel and take away all the possessions. They were constantly waging wars and seeking for an opportunity to defeat the Israelites.
God's people, the Israelites, were getting ready to fight an enemy army. David's brothers were soldiers in Israel's army. They were camped with King Saul and other soldiers on a hill. The enemy army was on another hill across the valley.
The enemy army had a soldier named Goliath. Goliath was very big, very strong, and very tall.
He was a giant.
Every day Goliath would shout mean things at King Saul and the Israelites. Then he would say,
"Choose someone to come and fight with me. If he wins, we will serve you. If I win, you must serve us."
King Saul and his men were afraid. They were used to fighting together, and Goliath was so big that no one wanted to fight him by themselves. One day, David came to the camp to bring his brothers some food. David heard the giant yelling. David was very angry because all of the mean things Goliath was saying about God and the Israelites. David couldn't understand why no one would fight Goliath.
David knew that God was stronger than the giant, and David knew God would help the Israelites win.
One of the soldiers told King Saul what David was saying. So King Saul sent for David. When David arrived, he told King Saul, "I will fight Goliath." King Saul said, "You can't do that, you're just a boy." But David answered, "When I was taking care of my sheep, I had to kill a lion and a bear. I know that the Lord who helped me will protect me from lions and bears and will help me fight the giant."
Saul wanted David to wear the king's armor and use his sword. But when David tried to walk around with all those things on, he said, "I can't fight in these," and he took them off. So King Saul said, "Go and the Lord be with you." Then David went and found 5 smooth stones to use with his sling. Now he was ready to fight the giant. When Goliath saw David, Goliath got angry. He thought the strongest and biggest soldier in King Saul's army would come out to fight him. But this person was just a young man. He didn't have a sword. He didn't have a spear. He didn't have a shield. He didn't have anything except a sling. So Goliath yelled, "Come here and I will kill you."
As the giant came closer, David ran towards him. David put a stone in his sling and shot it at the giant. The stone struck Goliath in the forehead. Goliath fell down dead. When the army saw what had happened, they were afraid and started to run away. King Saul and his army chased after them and the army and killed them.
David trusted God to help him, and God used David to help save the Israelites from the enemy army. The end.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a great week.
All right. Thank you very much. Are we on? All right. Thank you for the kids' story, Mike and Julie. That's great. A cute little intro at the beginning. That was funny. All right. Let's get into our stuff. Terrell, audio, kids' story, choppy. Not for me. It was totally fine. But then again, I'm inside the building. That's really good. Good morning, Wilf and Linda. Good to see you this morning as well. All right. And Trudy, we fixed the tree. So, yeah. All right. It's time for What Child Is This? What child is this? Discovering the Christ. Just before Christmas, we began a couple weeks of discussions of why Christmas became important and what are the stories that led to him being remembered so much, because those all are part of the same reason why we enjoy Christmas. It's why we actually focus on Christmas, because there's some really big things that have happened. But now it's time for Advent. And Advent is, last week it was the first time I talked about it for a long time, the purpose of Advent, why we do it, and today is the second Advent. And I came across two devotional type things on Advent that I want to share with you this morning, because I think they're really important. Then we're going to light the candle for the second Advent. The first one is this from Henry Nouwen. In the beginner's mind, there's no thought, I have attained something. All self-centered thoughts limit our vast mind. When we have no thought of achievement, no thought of self, we are true beginners. We can really learn something. The beginner's mind is the mind of compassion. When our mind is compassionate, it is boundless. I like these words, also very important for Advent. Open, free, flexible, receptive. That is the attitude that makes us ready. I realize that in Zen, you're not expecting anything or anyone. Still, it seems that all the things Shuri Suzuki tells the students are important for Christians to hear and realize. Isn't a beginner's mind a mind without the thought, I have attained something? A mind open for grace? Isn't that the mind of children who marvel at all they see? Isn't that the mind not filled with worries for tomorrow, but alert and awake in the present moment? This is the reminder that we need for Advent. To have the simplicity of a child, to look at Christmas not with our getting older mindset, where we can be grouchy or grumpy or, oh, here we go again. We hear people say, I hate the Christmas season, let's get over with it. Or they might like it at the beginning, then just a couple days before Christmas, I'm so sick of this, I can hardly wait till it's over. Folks, the simplicity that we're talking about here, about the beginner's mindset, to be reminded back to the beginning of the start of this story. What began this whole thing? The coming of Christ. Are you in awe, or do you know it all? Do you still wonder and explore the mystery of why Christ came? Or have you got it all figured out? Yeah, I got the answers. There's a book on my shelf. I've got all that there. I don't have to think this through. Wait a minute. It's time to slow down a little bit, especially in this Christmas season of usually much busier than it is. Slow down. Think like a child. Not act like a child, so to speak, but to think with the simplicity of one. I love that thought. Thank you, Henry Nouwen, for that. This next one is from Robert Capon. It's quite profound. It's another Advent perspective. Get ready. This is a good one. Advent is the church's annual celebration of the silliness. Never heard that before. From selig, which is German for blessed. of salvation. The whole thing really is a divine lark. God has fudged everything in our favor. Without shame or fear, we rejoice to behold his appearing. Yes, there is dirt under the divine deliverer's fingernails. But no, it isn't any different from all the other dirt of history. The main thing is, he's got the package and we've got the trust. Lo, he comes with clouds descending. Hallelujah! And 3 cheers. Whoop, whoop, whoop. What we are watching or waiting for is a party. And that party is not just down the street making up its mind when to come to us. It's already hiding in our basement, banging on our steam pipes, laughing its way up the cellar stairs. Oh yeah, clicker. I need my clicker. Like you. The unknown day and the hour of its finally bursting into the kitchen and roistering its way through the whole house is not dreadful. It's all part of the divine lark of grace. God is not our mother-in-law. Coming to see whether he wedding present China has been chipped. If the wedding present China has been chipped, God is instead the funny old uncle with a salami under one arm and a bottle of wine under the other. Oh my goodness, I'm thinking of a movie I'm not going to mention. We do need to wait for him, but only because it would be such a pity to miss all the fun. Robert Capon. Oh my goodness. It's time to shake some things up. If your tradition is just an easy routine of going through the motions of Christmas, because that's the way you've always done it, if you've never grown with some excitement, in fact, I was texting with someone in Germany yesterday. You know who you are. We're laughing at the way Germans handle change. They don't. They're stubborn. Yeah, does anybody? Russ asks. Germans are so stubborn, okay? Like, you got almost tattoo it to their forehead before they believe it's true. Because if they believe something else forever, it's terrible. But Germans are slow to learn. And you know what? It's not just Germans. It's all of us. If there is something that brings some comfort, if we have this knowledge, this package in front of us, and if we don't have to think outside that box, and we've been told to believe that this is now it, this is the message, then any other message that comes, well, no, we've been told this is the message, the other ones are all wrong. If we've been told that, that's called the system of religion. We are not part of the system of religion, which is about controls. I was talking to one lady, you know who you are, Carol. We were talking about the word crap, Christian rules and procedures. We're done with that. We're into looking for the mystery, exploring, continually moving, not becoming stagnant. What if there are other ways to express and see? What if your way of expressing and celebrating has become so numb to you, you're not feeling the emotions of anything anymore because you're just going through the routines, through the motions? I think pastors probably have a hard time with this because we've got to do this every year. We've got to find creative ways to do Easter, to do Thanksgiving, to do Christmas. Oh, how are we going to find something new and invigorating? It's no different than anybody at a home celebrating Christmas with their kids. How do we make it real? It's sometimes easier just to say, let's just not do much this year. That's fine, if that's what you want to do. But let me ask you to ask the real you. What do you want to do? What does your identity, your oneness with Christ want to do? How can we remember this really important story? It's worth looking at. Today is the second Advent. The second Advent is about the Bethlehem Candle, or the candle of love, really. That's what today is about. And I'm going to light 2 candles today for the second Advent, and then we'll read Micah 5, 2 and 3. These 2 candles represent last week's candle, the candle of hope, which I love that one, and today the one of love. And we're going to talk a little bit about love today. You want to know what love's got to do with it? I'll tell you. Just hold on. Jermaine, good morning, buddy. Micah 5, 2 to 3. A ruler from Bethlehem. But you, O Bethlehem, Ephrathatha, are only a small village among all the people of Judah. Yet a ruler of Israel, whose origins are in the distant past, will come from you on my behalf. The people of Israel will be abandoned to their enemies until the woman in labor gives birth. Then, at last, this fellow countryman will return from exile to their own land. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's much going on. There's much going on. Oops, I shouldn't do that, but I just did. So, Advent. Can I have the clicker, kind sir? There we go. Advent. What do we do with this? Today is the one of love. So let's just watch this next clip and just take in what you see and read. I love that. Time for some love. Have the clicker, kind sir. We're still training these guys. All right. Are we there? Okay, I'm going to start reading. Get me to the next slide of that article that you see, okay? 1 Corinthians 13, Christmas style. Some of you have heard it. Oh, nope. There. Christmas style. Here we go. Now remain these three things: faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love. If I decorate my house perfectly with lovingly plaid bows, strands of twinkling lights and shiny glass balls, but do not show love to my family, I'm just another decorator. If I slave away in the kitchen baking dozens of Christmas cookies, preparing gourmet meals, and arranging a beautifully adorned table at mealtime, but do not show love to my family, I'm just another cook. If I work at the soup kitchen, carol in the nursing home, and give all that I have to charity, but do not show love to my family, it profits me nothing. If I trim the spruce with shimmering angels and crocheted snowflakes, attend a myriad of holiday parties, and sing in the choir's cantata, but do not focus on Christ, I have missed the point. In other words, love stops the cooking to hug a child. Love sets aside the decorating to kiss a husband. I like that. Love is kind, and though harried and tired. Love doesn't envy another home that has coordinated Christmas china and table linen or lights. Love doesn't yell at the kids to get out of the way, but is thankful they are there to be in the way. That's a hard one to handle, but it's true. Love doesn't give only to those who are able to give in return, but rejoices in giving to those who can't. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. Love never fails. Video games will break. Pearl necklaces will be lost. Golf clubs will rust, but giving the gift of love will endure. You bet. I love that. That's such a cool rendition. By the way, if you guys come across cool stuff like that, please forward it to me. And if it's usable, I will use it in a Sunday morning. I can't find this stuff on my own. But if it's the love candle today, let's talk about what love is. Let's take a look at 1 Corinthians. This is going to surprise you. We're going to read it from the Passion Translation today, and this is going to be it. Hey, Gord's here. Yay. Hey, Gord, we gave your kids a shout out earlier. So anyway, you can go back and rewind later and see what we said. 1 Corinthians 13. Let me first begin with this. This is important. This is not the job description for married couples on wedding day. Unfortunately, I have heard this being said. I may have accidentally said it too without realizing it. But usually this is read at weddings, and there's no problem with that. It's totally great. But it's not the to-do list. It's not the have-to list. It's the get-to list. This is what the expression of love looks like. This is the demonstration of love lived. Let's read this carefully and walk through this because 1 Corinthians 13 is really important today. Love, the motivation of our lives. If I were to speak with eloquence in earth's many languages and in the heavenly tongues of angels, yet didn't express myself with love, my words would be reduced to the hollow sound of nothing more than a clanging cymbal. I have been intimidated by those who can recall Bible verses out of thin air on any topic and give you the exact location of where it is. I've looked up to those who can memorize great swaths of Scripture, who can remember people. I've looked up to people who can remember people's names, even if they met them just once. Who can do that? Very few people. But I've looked up to it. I've been intimidated by that. I cannot do it. And yet, we think some people who can do all those things can love better. Listen, I've met some of those people, and they use their talents and gifts as an excuse from loving others. It's the replacement because they haven't learned how to love. Just because a person can speak really well, just because they can put grammar together, you have never seen my notes, okay? I married an English major. I don't let her mark my papers ever because red. But I love her, and she loves me. It's different. It's not about the paper. That's why this text is so important. I've looked up to those who can speak in tongues. I've been to churches where people will prophesy and speak languages I can't understand. At least that's what it sounds like. And have had many discussions on that topic. And that's not the point of today. But I've looked up to them, seeing them as far more spiritual. And oh my goodness, I'll never attain that. And I have actually tried to attain those things by practice, by mentorship, by reading. Seeing something I lack is all that's happening. That's what this eloquence thing is. That's what the speaking the language of tongues. If you see yourself as, oh, I can't do that, then you speak from a place of lack, and that's a lie. You don't lack any of that. You just may not need to do all that. You've got your unique way of loving. Be you. Don't be somebody else, which is really hard for people pleasers. Love. Know what love is. In the Greek, in the Aramaic, the word love has different meanings. Here in the Aramaic, the word for love is huba. Not hubba hubba. Okay? Huba. Just in case you're wondering. And it is a homonym. Guys, stop it. That also means to set on fire. It is difficult to fully express the meaning of this word and translate it into English. You could say that the Aramaic concept is burning love or fiery love, which is very interesting, folks. Coming from the inner depths of the heart as an eternal energy. Oh, this is good. An active power of bonding hearts and lives in secure relationships. That's what huba means. God is love. An ever-burning fire. Passion. By the way, that fire, another word, wrath. A deep, intense emotion. From the Greek word, now I forgot. It doesn't matter. Don't need to remember it. But the definition of wrath has to do with deep, intense emotion. And that's what love is here, a deep, intense emotion. The Aramaic language is so beautiful, so deep. In the Greek, the word is agape, which describes the highest form of love. It is the love of God that he has for his people. It is an intense, there it is again, intense affection that must be demonstrated. Is your love demonstrated? If you want to use this in marriage or on a wedding day, I've heard couples that have been married for years and some who are having great difficulty say, yeah, I love her. Well, what do you mean? Or I love him. But what does it look like? Can you use this text as a way to say, this is what my love looks like? It's going to get really rich in a few minutes when you see what the definition of love is here, okay? This is really God. This is not the to-do list. This is the description of the divine indwelling you right now with an energy of fiery passion. You don't need to find it. It's already in you. Look for it. Listen for it. That's what Advent is, the coming of this fiery love to our awareness. It's been here, but it came in human form in Christ, and then it dwelt us, and we were fused as one to the divine. Oh yeah, this is good stuff. It is a loyal, endless, and unconditional commitment of love. Feelings are attached to this love. Ooh, so you see that? Feelings are attached to this love. Okay? It's different than love is a feeling. Click. It's not abstract, but devoted to demonstrating the inward feeling of the love towards another with acts of kindness and benevolence. I love this. Verse 2. And if I were to have the gift of prophecy or prophetic powers, with a profound understanding of God's hidden secrets, and if I possessed unending supernatural knowledge, and if I had the greatest gift of faith that I could move mountains but never learned to love, then I am nothing. These people scared me. I remember being in youth group, and some people were prophesying over people. This is going to happen to you. This is going to happen to you. Oh, you did this. I was scared to go to church some days. That somebody knew what I did. That's weird. I better not go there because maybe they can read my mind because my mind isn't holy right now. You know? Like, honestly, this whole idea of prophetic, the gift of prophecy, by the way, in this text, I do not believe that the prophecy here is referring to fortune telling, which is what most people perceive prophecy to mean. It's not. In the gift of prophecy that we see in the letters, epistle letters, it's referring to being able to describe and open up Scripture, help reveal and tell what it means, not fortune tell. That's where people get messed up in eschatology, end times, because they think all this stuff is talking about end times. It is not. Oh man. Love. Don't be intimidated by this. Recognize the love that's in you now, not trying to find it outside of yourself by being jealous of those who supposedly have powers. They have no more power than you. Don't be duped. Don't be fooled. Verse 3, if I were to be so generous as to give away everything I owned to feed the poor and offer my body and be burned as a martyr, without the pure motive of love, I would gain nothing of value. You can give it all away. You can't buy love. There's a couple songs written about that. I'll leave that alone too. But listen, your generosity is supposed to be an expression of the love. I find it very strange that when people come to understand grace and identity, financially they become, I'd say, almost more stringent and tight, not more generous, where people who have a law of tithing, which is baloney, it's not for you and me anyway, they tend to give a lot, usually out of duty. It's funny. Sometimes I wish, man, I'd like to go back to law. We wouldn't have any money problems. But grace should be the freedom. And by the way, I'm not referring that to a growth or decline of a church, because if it's God's baby, it's going to grow or decline. It's his thing. And money is not the factor. It's how we attach our value to what we're participating in. That's where our money goes. You want me to know what your priorities are? Let me look at your budget, and I'll tell you what your priorities are. Yep, that's how it works. And some people, honestly, you need a little more priority with your families. Some of you need to stop giving so much to organizations and take care of your own family. Feed your own family first. Quit being guilted by religion to fork out because God will bless you and it'll come back tenfold. That kind of scuba is baloney. Just saying. That's not love. That's manipulation. You can be generous and it be fueled by grace. That's the generosity. Verse 4, love is large and incredibly patient. Let me scroll down to the bottom here first. Or, instead of the word patient, it means love patiently endures mistreatment. Could mean that love is incredibly patient even in difficult relationships. The Aramaic can be translated, love transforms the spirit. This is rich. Love is large and incredibly patient. Love is gentle and consistently kind to all. This is going to get difficult for a few of us to hear this, and I'll tell you why in a few minutes. It takes one to know one. It refuses to be jealous when blessings come to someone else. Love does not brag about one's achievements, nor inflate its own importance. This line up here, love is gentle and consistently kind to all. We're going to come back to that again later. Because I don't express that. I have not personally achieved that. And I can feel really shameful and guilty about that. And I'm telling you that because I'm telling myself that is not how I'm to dwell on this. I'm not to look at the shame of it. I'm to see this as an encouragement. Oh, I can see that I have failed there. Now I can change it. I can metanoia. I can change my mind. I can turn and become more kind, more patient. Not so sharp with my family. Not so snappy. My wife will be the first one to say, when I get too busy and too much going on, I have short answers and I forget about the feelings. I run ahead past the emotional, important journey and steps to relationship, and I jump to answers and I expect people to catch up just as fast. It's not fair. We can't do that. Don't do that to your family this Christmas. I'm going to choose not to do that anymore, and I've done that in the last couple weeks, and I am sorry to my family for that. Love is large. Love is gentle. It's not jealous when it comes to someone else. Oh, what could that mean? Oh, I'll tell you this. When somebody were to come into a large amount of money, let's say, either through a lawsuit or, let's say, a lottery or a prize, people get jealous. Somebody gets a really nice car. Oh, you have that much money. And all the stupid judgment comes out. And it's usually from people who don't have that. That is not love. That is speaking from a place of lack. You don't lack anything. Just because somebody else has something nicer in your mind, that's not the way of Christ in us. We can celebrate with them instead, because then people won't have to be all shy. Look, I got a new car. And instead we can say, that's so cool, I love that. Instead of the person who bought it feeling, I can't tell anybody because they're going to get all jealous. Right? You see, there's got to be freedom in community. Verse 5. Love selfishly seek its own honor. Love is not easily irritated. Ouch, 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 ouch. Some people point out other people's faults quickly and bring them to a place of shame, and they use it as a tool for manipulation. It's been used on me, and I've used it on others, but when it's used on me, man, I see it even bigger now. It's like, what? I never saw that before. Somebody was playing into my emotional vulnerabilities by using shame to try to manipulate me to go in a certain direction. That's not the way of love. Don't do that to somebody else either. Don't do it in your family. Don't do it in your relationships. Don't do it at work. Don't be disrespectful. Don't seek your own honor. Don't try and get your reputation going. And being not easily irritated or overly sensitive, having sharp edges, that one hurts today. Because we all have had times where we're overly sensitive or have sharp edges. And I've done that to my family. We know each other, but still, I'm hearing today a metanoia. That's not love. I didn't realize, I forgot, because I was so busy, that I'm not demonstrating the love I keep preaching on. We're not quick to take offense, it says. Or are you easily offended? Well, these days, holy smokes, I'm so offended. Oh, wear your mask. Oh, this. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, are we so easily offended? And yes, it's a tense time, but please, let's find some kindness here. Being resentful does not keep score. The Aramaic can be translated, love does not stare at evil. Love will overlook offenses and remain focused on what is good, refusing to hold resentment in our hearts. Love joyfully celebrates honesty or reality, and finds no delight in what is wrong or injustice or unrighteousness. Love is a safe place of shelter, for it never stops believing. Don't stop. Oh, sorry, wrong song. Believing the best for others. Sorry. Love never takes failure as defeat, for it never gives up. I'm looking at the clock. I haven't got time to... I'm going to keep going. I want to finish today because next week's a whole different thing. So please give me another 5-10 minutes max. I want to get through this. It's too good. I love this idea of love is a safe place of shelter. Let's take a look down the bottom here, what it says. Or it means love bears all things. Although commonly understood to mean that love can bear hardships of any kind, love does not focus on what is wrong, but will bear with the shortcomings of others. And like a roof protects and shields, you could say that love springs no leak. It's a safe place that offers shelter, not exposure. Are you a safe person for people to come to? Or are you going to backstab them and judge them when they come and reveal a vulnerability? Are you a safe person for someone to come and share a failure? Do they know you're not going to judge them? If people don't come to you, it could, might say something, I don't know. But this is big. Love bears all things. It's a place of shelter. That's why in Scripture, I forget where it is. See, I'm not one of those guys who can pull out Scripture in a second because I'm not Google. But somewhere in the New Testament it says, be extra kind to those who are growing and maturing. Leave allowances for them in their journey of maturing. It's like your child at 1 year old. You don't get mad at them for pooping their diaper. If they're 8 years old still wearing a diaper and pooping, that's a problem, right? But at 1 and 2, that's normal. We give allowance because that's normal behavior. 1 Corinthians 13:8, love never stops loving, or love never, not even once, fails, lapses, or love never falls down. It keeps going higher. It extends beyond the gift of prophecy, which eventually fades away. It is more enduring than tongues, which will one day fall silent. Love remains long after words of knowledge are forgotten. Our present knowledge and our prophecies are partial, as in fragments. Everything you know right now, everything you believe is a fragment of the truth. You only understand a small little portion of God's grace and the knowledge of who God is. I only get one little tidbit. Talking with my friend in Germany, we were talking about our past connections and realizing that those we grew up with, many have never changed their faith. They've never expanded or grown in their understanding of God's love or who God is. They've only believed what they have been told and just reciprocated and overdone it and regurgitated it. I call it pre-chewed buffet food. Blech. Blech. Give me something new and fresh. Keep growing. Don't be stagnant. We only know partially. But when love's perfection arrives, the partial will fade away. Perfect love diminishes the importance of prophecy and tongues. How many go racing after prophecy and tongues? I want that gift, I want that gift. How about go for the best one of all, love? I don't hear anybody craving for that, especially in charismatic circles. No, I want the gift of prophecy, I want the gift of tongues, Go for love, it's the best one. When I was a child, I spoke about childish matters. For I saw things like a child and reasoned like a child. But the day came when I matured and I set aside my childish ways. How many still need to set aside childish ways or childish beliefs? Only you can answer that. Only you can answer that. And for us who think that we're not as childish, be extra gracious to those who are acting out childishly because they're acting from their level of fragmented knowledge. Don't get mad at a blind person for being blind. Really important. Verse 12, for now we see but a faint reflection of riddles and mysteries, enigma, as though reflected in a mirror. But one day we will see face to face. My understanding is incomplete now, but one day I will understand everything, I hope, just as everything about me has been fully understood. One day. Where are you at? Until then, there are three things that remain: faith, hope, love. Yet, love surpasses them all. The 10 things that we just had described. Love is patient under stress, is kind at all times, is generous, not envious, is humble, not self-promoting, is never rude, does not manipulate by using shame, is not irritable or easily offended, ouch, celebrates honesty, yes, let's celebrate, does not focus on what is flawed, and is loyal to the end. May God reveal his love to you, but even better, may he reveal his love in you. May it then burst and bubble forth and be acted out according to your revelation. I hope today was encouraging. The love candle. Yeah. This whole week, reflect on the love of God. Hopefully last week you reflected on the hope of Christ. We're going to close with this next short clip. It's a small prayer, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. But this is how we're going to end. Thank you for joining us today.